In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about the S&P futures, and we're going to start with a daily chart. So this market was definitely a bit insane, but there were still setups that showed up in the market. There were actually quite a few. We're going to start with the daily support decision that we ended up testing, and that came from a 786 retracement of this low to high swing. That came in at the 25.87 area. We had a 1272 extension of this low to this high swing, and you can actually, test this for yourself if you know how to use some of these fib tools. There's the 1272 extension, and then there was the 100% projection of this prior larger decline projected from here, and that gave us a cluster of 25.87.5 to 25.92. All right, that zone I did not know that it would hold. All I knew was that that was support below the market, and that if it held, that you could take a trade against it. But what are the next decisions? Okay, because this is one that we focused on in the trading room today when I was up. And then let's see, what else do we need to know? Well, you know what? We saw that not only did we have the price support, we had some timing factors as far as the 120-minute chart was concerned. But now we have to watch for a possible failure on the way up. Okay, just because we held this and we also have some timing doesn't mean that it's a major low. Because of the pattern that we're now looking at, with lower lows and lower highs, there are two more areas that I do want to watch and anticipate a possible failure. It may not happen. You might just continue to rally from here and blow through it, but I do want you to watch the areas of, let's see, this 2647.5 to 2651.5 or so, and then the other zone is 2662.25 to 2669, or let's just call it 2670. Okay, so those are a couple areas that we're going to be watching tomorrow for a possible failure. Now, the one other thing I do want to show you again, it's not everybody understands, triggers and all that kind of good stuff. So let me see if I can get my S&P SM18 233 tick chart up to show you where we did start to see a shift this morning. Okay, so here's where we tested the daily support, and this is on the 5-minute chart. Now, when it shifted and we started taking out prior swing highs, what you wanted to do on that time frame chart is set up the pullback, and this is what we ended up doing, and this was done in the trading room, so it's not after, it's after the fact now, but it's not after the fact finding it. We actually had this set up in the room where you had the retracements of these prior swings and the symmetry, and we ended up looking at this decision, after we had some resistance that we came off of. We knew that if we didn't break this support, that we could easily resume the rally. So that was one of the setups. But how do you trade something like that? Well, since the zone actually defines your risk on the setup, you can use a pretty short-term trigger. So that came in at what, 26 even area. So let's see where that came in on this particular chart today. Now this might take a bit for me to find. Come on, 26 even. Because this definitely took off after testing that area. Okay, so here we are. So this is a 233 tick chart. And what we need to see, it doesn't look like this wants to fill in the blanks for me, but what we typically look for is, when we test the support and it holds, and it did on the pullback, you want to wait for the moving average crossover and for it to take out a prior swing high, indicating, that it has shifted patterns, for example, from lower lows and lower highs to higher highs and higher lows. Sorry, but this, this chart is not filling in the blanks. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we did see the crossover here, and you did take out a prior swing high, and at that point you're able to be a buyer and define your risk right underneath this area. It's very little risk for the potential reward that you get when you take one of these setups. Hope that helps.